Now, whether he fight to get up out of it, that's a different story, because there's too many wolves, too many hyenas running around that jail cell.
Ever since NBA YoungBoy landed in that federal lockup down in Alabama, it's been pure chaos from the start. Word on the block now is that he just got into it with some real certified hitters, way tougher than he expected. And the results? Far from good. So, what exactly went down? Let's dig in. The clash that rattled the whole federal joint. Real talk, inside the rough corridors of FCI Talladega, Alabama, where only the sharp survive and respect don't come easy, you gotta earn it with bruises, sweat, and sometimes a quick combo to the jaw. Early March 2025, the system's about to witness a real-life showdown that'll have the rap scene in shock and social media spinning for days. NBA YoungBoy, born Kentrell Deshaun Goulden but better known as Top, was doing time at FCI Talladega, a medium-security Fed facility in Alabama, after being transferred from FCI Atlanta earlier in the year. The 25-year-old star, famous for pushing that never broke again movement, was in the middle of a 23-month federal sentence on firearm charges. But what unfolded that day proved one thing: even in the feds, outside beef don't just vanish. It creeps through them bars like a ghost that won't leave. Things got heated when an inmate from Mississippi, motive still being argued across forums and channels, decided he'd try to punk the Baton Rouge rapper in the worst way possible. According to Terrence Gangster Williams, Birdman's own brother who spent 2 decades in federal custody, this Mississippi dude pulled a stunt so bold it instantly flipped a regular prison day into a real deal street moment that had everyone talking.
There was a guy from Mississippi, he yelled out, OTF. YoungBoy said, you OTF? YoungBoy told him, I'm trying to get with that. Find a cell. They said they went to the cell, YoungBoy hit him with a 2P, dropped him. And some other guy said, oh, y'all riding his D.
Now here's where it gets messy. The real reason behind the tension that day still got folks debating heavy. Williams and major hip-hop outlets said the Mississippi inmate yelled out OTF, which ties to Lil Durk's crew, Only the Family. But others online, especially Reddit threads, swear he said something totally different and even more foul. Word is, he might have actually shouted, "You're riding YoungBoy's D***K," trying to clown inmates who were showing the rapper too much love. That one line lit a fuse, and YoungBoy reacted with that same wild energy he's always known for. It might seem like a small thing, but that tiny spark shows how prison info spreads, distorted by whispers, half-truths, and street gossip before it reaches the outside world. The fact that nobody can even agree on what triggered it proves how deep and murky prison politics run, where every word, rumor, and glance can start a war.
He's too big, his name too big.
He's huge.
So I think he, just to save face, he might try to get a lawyer to fight. Not put me in population, but he have a big name. Everybody know him, so they're gonna put him in protected custody first. Now, whether he fight to get up out of it, that's a different story, but yeah, I think they got him protected, because there's too many wolves, too many hyenas running around that jail cell, that jail.
What followed next was quick, vicious, and proved YoungBoy don't just rap about violence, he lives it. According to Williams' full retelling, Top didn't hesitate for a second. The Louisiana hitmaker unleashed what Williams called a two-piece, meaning 2 fast, lethal punches that shut the Mississippi dude down instantly. The scuffle ended faster than you could say never broke again. But the consequences spread far beyond the yard. The usual federal procedure kicked in right after, precise and cold. Guards threw YoungBoy straight into the hole, or solitary confinement for those who don't know the term. It's meant to stop more violence, keep both sides apart, and let the feds piece together what happened. But solitary ain't no break. It's mental punishment that can tear down even the hardest ones from the inside out.
NBA YoungBoy, he's housed at Talladega. That's in Alabama. He been standing on business. So for y'all who want to know what's going on with NBA YoungBoy, he been standing on business. He went to the hole. They found a cell for him in the cell, and the cell took a chill. He shot to come home. So he got out 2 days ago. He's in the hole now.
Life inside the hole ain't meant to be easy. It's built to break you down mentally and emotionally. Prisoners lose nearly every privilege they have. You're boxed inside a tiny 6x9-foot cell nearly all day, no real human contact, and barely any access to normal routines. Recreation, almost non-existent. Phone time, limited. Commissary, restricted. Meals slide through a metal slot. Showers happen on a strict schedule. And silence becomes your worst enemy. For someone like YoungBoy, known for that unshakable defiance and refusal to fold, this kind of isolation could last weeks, maybe even months, depending on how the prison rated his threat level or potential to spark more chaos. But the real story here isn't just the fight, it's what it reveals about his whole mindset. YoungBoy's always had that unbreakable, confrontational streak, never backing off, no matter the cost. This wasn't his first time getting into it behind bars, and looking back on his past shows a pattern. That same don't play with me code that wins him respect in the streets while worrying those watching his legal path.
People gonna try to slide up on him to be his friend. They either bond him, man, I'm gonna be his friend so you can bond me out of jail or pay for me an attorney, put some money in my books. NBA YoungBoy is a guy from the hood, so first thing in his mind, I ain't paying for nothing. You're not about to extort me.
To really get it, you got to rewind to 2021, St. Martin Parish Jail, where YoungBoy's jailhouse behavior gave everyone a glimpse of how he handles pressure inside. According to paperwork that leaked online in 2023, he was known for being loud, dominant, and running the TV at full blast, something that rubbed other inmates the wrong way. When a 43-year-old man finally confronted him about it, things escalated fast. What started as shouting turned into a full-blown altercation. Reports say YoungBoy laid hands on the guy and threw out threats using classic prison slang. Talk about putting money on his head or getting his people touched. That incident painted a clear picture. Despite his fame and fortune, he wasn't playing the celebrity inmate role. Instead of keeping his head down, he kept asserting dominance, earning respect but inviting danger. It's that same double-edged mentality: stay real and risk everything, or play it safe and get labeled soft. That's the impossible choice high-profile inmates face. Protective custody offers safety but kills your street credibility, while general population keeps your rep alive but puts a target on your back. Terrence "Gangster" Williams, with his 2 decades of Fed time, broke this dilemma down perfectly. Raw, real, and straight from experience.
I gotta come in population because if you don't go in population, they're gonna talk about, oh, he was in PC, he was scared. He talk all that stuff in his rhyme, but he's scared to walk amongst us.
As he should be.
You know what I'm saying? But you know,
as he should be.
But them youngsters,
he's one guy.
That March 2025 clash at FCI Talladega threw a harsh spotlight on the system's struggle to control high-profile inmates whose outside beefs bleed into prison life. But to truly grasp how 3 simple letters could spark such explosive violence, we got to rewind to the roots of one of hip-hop's most dangerous rivalries, the deadly feud between Lil Durk and NBA YoungBoy. Those letters ain't just shorthand. They carry years of blood, loss, and hostility. It's a battle cry that's echoed from studio booths to Instagram feeds, and now, into federal prison blocks, leaving behind broken lives, ruined futures, and scars that go deeper than music. This war didn't start overnight. It goes back to around 2017 to 2018, when both rappers were climbing fast in their own hoods. The first spark? A messy love triangle, involving Jania Meshel, YoungBoy's ex, who later became linked to King Von, one of Durk's closest friends. That connection lit the fuse for one of rap's darkest, most violent sagas. What began as a mix of jealousy, pride, and romantic drama, the same ingredients that have fueled rap rivalries for decades, soon spiraled into something darker, more personal, and far beyond what anyone could have predicted. For a while, the tension between both camps simmered quietly beneath the surface. Then came November 6, 2020, the night that changed everything forever. King Von, Lil Durk's right-hand man and one of the most magnetic figures in drill rap, was gunned down outside Monaco Hookah Lounge in Atlanta. The trigger man, Lil Tim, an associate of Quando Rondo, who was tied directly to NBA YoungBoy's Never Broke Again label and considered a close member of his 4KT family. Von's death wasn't just a tragedy, it was a seismic event that sent shockwaves through hip-hop and the streets alike. For Durk, it hit deeper than business. Von wasn't just a label mate, he was family, a younger brother, a protege, and the living proof of what Durk had been building for Chicago's drill legacy. That single act of violence turned what had been a tense rivalry into an open blood feud, one now fueled by heartbreak, vengeance, and the unrelenting pursuit of justice in the name of loyalty.
We feel like it hasn't reached its ultimate conclusion.
Yeah, I don't think so.
And that's the problem.
That's the problem.
And unfortunately, it feels like the ultimate conclusion is one of those guys getting either incarcerated or die.
Durk poured every ounce of that anguish into his records, turning pain into power. Songs like Backdoor and later Aha became both tributes and declarations, part memorial, part war cry. These weren't just diss tracks, they were the sound of grief weaponized, verses soaked in sorrow and rage. By February 2022, the feud had reached nuclear levels. Both artists dropping tracks so personal, so venomous, they blurred the line between art and retaliation. Durk's Aha took direct shots at YoungBoy's crew, while YoungBoy's I Hate YoungBoy was an unrelenting 5-minute barrage that went after everyone. Durk, his girl India Royal, the memory of King Von, and even allies like Gucci Mane. These songs weren't just musical jabs, they were sonic warfare, raw emotion turned into lyrical bullets. YoungBoy didn't hold back either, mocking Von's death with lines like "O Block Pack" and "Get Wrapped Up," firing off insults clearly meant to wound. His verses stretched the conflict far beyond Durk, roping in anyone who dared show sympathy to his enemies, transforming a rap beef into something that felt closer to psychological combat.
Going at Durk, going at India, going at Ack. Pretty much
You got at my guy, Ack.
He did.
That's Ack Man, though.
What do you say about Ack?
That's Ack Man.
Just call,
Ack loved that
him
dude.
some names.
Not nice names, I'm sure.
No. Ack responded, and he said it's sad to see today that, you know, my guy, NBA YoungBoy, has resorted to dissing in order to sell records.
But it wasn't just the lyrics. It was the internet that turned this feud into a full-scale spectacle. Both rappers began using Instagram and Twitter as weapons, flexing their fortunes and threats in plain sight. The infamous money message challenge saw each of them spelling out bold, taunting words with stacks of cash, a stunt that instantly went viral and turned their beef into public theater. Fans dissected every caption, every emoji, every post for hidden shots or warnings, treating the feud like a never-ending episode of digital warfare. By May 2023, hope briefly flickered when DJ Academics claimed on livestream that the two sides had finally made peace, pointing to a YoungBoy fan page tweet that Dirk had momentarily liked. For a heartbeat, it looked like sanity might win out, that maybe, just maybe, both would move on and focus on their bags instead of beef. But the truce collapsed almost as quickly as it began. Dirk unliked the post and threw up a cryptic IG story, "I ain't cool with no N asterisk asterisk asterisk. Stop it." Asterisk that message killed any illusions of peace on the spot. YoungBoy clapped back instantly, calling out Academics and doubling down that there'd be no ceasefire, no forgiveness, no backing down, and no end to this ever-burning rivalry.
So I mean, like,
Ack said on YouTube that beef was squashed, and it wasn't squashed.
He told Ack, "Nigga, I'll kill you."
Yeah, mind your little fat business. That's what he told him. Get out
Yeah, pretty much.
Get out of here, nigga. You fat ass. He said, your mouth is going to be the reason. And I kept reading to see the rest of the sentence. And that was the end of the sentence. Your mouth going to be the reason, which left me to infer.
Things got even more tangled, and way more volatile, when Gilly DA Kid tried stepping in as peacemaker in December 2023. He floated the idea that both rappers should hit the same stage at his Gilly Fest to prove the beef wasn't worth all the blood and energy. At first, it looked like YoungBoy was down for it. In an IG video, he claimed he and Dirk were cool, even talking every few nights, and that all the hostility was just part of the entertainment game. But Dirk's quiet, coded replies said otherwise. His tone hinted at distrust that ran far deeper than any public reunion could fix. What started as lyrical sparring had turned into something poisonous, a cycle of real violence and emotional fallout. The war had expanded far past just Dirk and YoungBoy, pulling in relatives, friends, and bystanders who never signed up for it. According to Complex, this wasn't just rap beef anymore. It was grief, trauma, and street vengeance feeding off each other in an endless loop. Over the years, multiple people tied to both sides have been shot, killed, or locked up in what many believe are connected events. The feud has even crossed into federal prisons, with reports of tension between OTF-linked inmates and those riding for 4KT in various facilities. And then there's the generational divide. Older fans often side with Dirk's more traditional, lyric-heavy sound, while younger crowds lean toward YoungBoy's raw, emotional chaos.
I think that Dirk's album will be better.
Oh no, that's
And
different conversation
I am
there.
a bigger fan of
Dirk makes
Dirk's
better music
than I am of YoungBoy, but I don't think my little young nieces and nephews feel the same. I think they ride with YoungBoy. That's me admitting I'm too old for this, whatever's happening. I don't know what's happening.
I'll listen
all
to
the way
both.
invested.
That split in audience has turned the feud into a full-blown cultural clash, not just about music, but about what hip-hop means today. It's become a generational war, old-school discipline versus new-age rebellion, calculated moves versus raw emotion. And with no sign of either side backing down, the fire keeps spreading. Now, with Lil Durk facing serious federal accusations, including whispers about murder-for-hire involvement, the story's entered an even darker phase. The possibility of both artists ending up behind bars at the same time adds a whole new challenge for prison officials already struggling to contain the fallout of a feud that refuses to stay outside. Meanwhile, YoungBoy's road to that Alabama cell tells a longer story, one filled with mischances, mounting charges, and a long trail of chaos stretching back to his teenage years. A criminal timeline that runs from juvenile detention to the federal penitentiary. YoungBoy's first run-in with the law came shockingly early, just 15 years old in 2014, when he got caught up in a robbery case that earned him about 6 months in juvenile detention. Instead of being a wake-up call, that first stint behind bars seemed to set the blueprint for his future. The structured, isolating world of juvie became both his punishment and his training ground. It was there he started pouring his anger and street stories into music, shaping the gritty, emotional sound that would later make him a star. But freedom didn't bring change. It brought escalation. Not long after, in 2016, his name hit headlines again, this time tied to an attempted first-degree murder case connected to a drive-by shooting in Baton Rouge. That arrest marked the moment the pattern solidified, each charge heavier than the last, each choice pulling him deeper into the system he seemed destined to fight and feed at the same time. That 2016 arrest played out like something straight out of a movie. In the middle of a live show in Austin, Texas, U.S. Marshals stormed the venue and grabbed YoungBoy right there on stage while the crowd watched in shock. It was the moment everything changed. A leap from petty crimes to violent felonies that painted him as a man who'd pull the trigger rather than back down. The official reports from that drive-by read like a script for chaos. YoungBoy and another shooter firing from a moving car at rivals they believed were plotting against them. He later admitted to squeezing off round himself, showing a level of cold determination that sent a message. He was really living the life he rapped about. The fact that the whole thing went down in daylight, in a neighborhood full of families, exposed a recklessness that would come to define most of his future run-ins with the law.
So he was arrested in a state case on the video in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. It was a state case. Then it became a federal case. I wasn't involved yet. Then he gets arrested in LA and they revoke his bond.
Right.
So
he
they
beat that case as well.
Yes.
Did you represent him in that case or
No,
no?
no.
Call up the pharmacist and be like, say, like he's talking like a Louisiana dude. Like, say, hey, did you write that prescription? Like he would be calling the pharmacist and be like, hey, did you
There's
give the
audio
pills?
recordings of this?
Yes. This is tapped. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and they said he would try to sound like a woman.